Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. It is Thursday. I'm Peter Martin. Thank you very much for joining us. Alan Ruff is alongside me. Gordon Smith is sitting cosily there, ready to discuss the topics of today. Yeah, everybody is starting to offer their opinion on the player of the year, who's going to win in that category on Sunday and who's going to win the young player of the year. It's always a tremendous night, Ruffy. There's excitement right down through the leagues for players who pick up the awards. And of course, we still to find out the final nominations for Manager of the Year.
Yeah, it's always an exciting time of the season, even when you played. It was great that all your teammates would take a table and you'd go along there, you'd make a day of it. And it's even better if one of your mates at the table wins. Mm-hmm. You know, even though you're down the lower divisions, it's a fantastic day out. And I think the organisations, yourself, do it particularly well. You know, I think there's nothing worse than going to an award ceremony and you're sitting there waiting for ages and ages and ages. You just do it the right way. Yeah,
the other thing I was going to say to you, it's also a chance for people who don't get out normally, Gordon. And it's their first drink ever.
First time out, yeah. I think some of the players that go along, it's their first drink ever. Yeah. When you, some of the interviews you've had to do in the past, Peter.
Well, I was going to say to you, Gordon, I've watched Rory McAllister grow from being a young boy, humble at winning the first award. Second one, I could see him really embracing the whole event. And the third one, I don't think he remembers too much about it.
No, I think that you're right. The problem was, I think we've had situations where there've actually been big matches on in the same day, hadn't there? And a lot of the players had met earlier on in the day, so they had quite a social day. And that social day carried on into the evening as well, and that's why there was a few of them were in that condition. I think one or two of them had to be spoken to and even ejected, didn't they, in past days?
Still, enough about Michael Higdon and the Motherwell side. Let's move on. What about the nominees, just in case you missed it yesterday? Here's a refresher course.
The candidates for the PFA Player of the Year have been announced, with two players from each of the Old Firm clubs up for the prize. Celtic's Callum McGregor, who won the Scottish Champions Player of the Season last weekend, is up for it. He's played more games than anyone else in the country this season at 63 times, and he said winning this award would top a fantastic season.
You know, obviously to be nominated by your fellow professionals, you know, it shows that you're doing something right, and you know, people are taking notice of it. So you know, it's always nice to be in the running.
James Forrest is being tipped by several people for the award. He has 17 domestic goals, many of them in big matches at important times. The winger felt his campaign has been the best of his career.
I said last year was probably my best one, but I think I've kicked on this year, and I'd say this has been my best season. And so we've got 4 games left, and I want to keep going and keep producing in the games to come.
Ryan Kent is up for both awards, meaning he's probably more likely to pick up the Young Players Trophy. He has been mercurial at times this season, with excellent dribbling and ruthless runs through defences. He believes his nomination justifies his move to Glasgow.
You know, I've had a lot of good exposure, domestically and in Europe this season. You know, to be given the chances I've by Steven Gerrard, I'm really grateful for, and you know, it's proved dividends.
And finally, Alfredo Morelos, the divisive Rangers forward, who has scored more goals than anyone else this season at 29, but also has the worst disciplinary record in the country. Where would Rangers have been this season without his contributions, though? Who do you think deserves to win the top prize this year?
Yeah, who do you think is going to get the player? Who's going to get the young player?
It's hard to say. I think the Player of the Year, there are 4 very good candidates there, but I would have thought it'd come down to the competition for me is between McGregor and Morelos. And I think that over consistency over the year, it's been McGregor has been more consistent.
Yeah, I said I thought every one of them has got a right to stake a claim. I don't think the standard this year has been as good as other years. I think other years we've had absolute runaway winner, you know, with the form they're consistently produced throughout the year. These 4 candidates have done it in bits and bobs. to a high level, I may add, you know, but I agree with Gordon. I think it's McGregor or Morales, and I'm trying to think the way players vote, you know, and I think McGregor might just get it.
Okay, interesting times. We shall see on Sunday the gala dinner at the Hilton Hotel in Glasgow. Really looking forward to it. Neil Lennon's been speaking today ahead of that trip to Pittodrie on Saturday, where Celtic could wrap up the league title. It'll be their 8th consecutive title if they can get the point they're looking for. And of course, the news coming out of Celtic Park today was that Scott Sinclair will be there for another season as Celtic triggered that extension in his deal, taking up that extra year's option. And Neil Lennon, the manager at the moment, thinks he's well worthy of it.
So Scott will be here for another year. Yeah, I mean, he's a very good player. You know, he's been a good player since he's walked in the door, and he's got 15, 16 goals this season. Again, big contribution in the goals column, and that experience as well, and football intelligence is always important to have around.
Yeah, Sinclair has, I mean, I think maybe the expectation level, he set the bar so high in year one, Ruffy, but he scored 17 goals this season.
Yeah, he set the bar way above the bar, if that's possible. I thought the first season he was just unstoppable. Nobody knew what to do with him. Nobody could handle his pace, and even when they doubled up on him, they couldn't handle him. Scoring goals for fun, left, right and centre. But since then, you know, it hasn't been the same standard. But as you said, he scored enough goals. Celtic see him still as a player that is not nearly an automatic selection. And you would think if he did go, you'd be talking, what, a £2 or £3 million player to replace him? So why not give him the extra wages?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the high. The low for Celtic is, of course, that Kieran Tierney will have an operation. He is going to miss 4 weeks. And, of course, those 4 weeks fall into the category of international football as well, as Neil Lennon explained.
He's training, so he's in contention to start. I think it'll be very, very difficult for him to go with Scotland. You know, we're sort of managing him on a daily basis at the minute, and he is going to require surgery. And the sooner, you know, the season finishes and he gets the surgery done, the better it'll be for him going forward.
That's a blow, Gordon.
It's a blow to Scotland, especially. The fact is, you know, Celtic have got big games coming up. Obviously, you know, a game to win the league, a point needed, and a cup final, but. You know, Scotland are going to miss him. I think he's such an outstanding player as well. Fortunately, we have good cover at left back, though. That's the only thing you could say that Kieran Tierney could play other positions and can play even centre back if required, or right back at times as he's played there. So it will be a loss. But let's hope the main thing about it is that the fact he recovers from this, that the operation is vital, that he will then be fit enough to really return to the player he was, and it's not going to be something that's going to be consistent with him and give him a problem. Yeah,
across the city, Stephen Gerrard's been commenting on the deal that was secured to bring Jake Hastie from Motherwell to Ibrox. He reckons he will improve that squad, Gordon.
Well, I'm saying if you're a manager and you're bringing in a player, you have to feel that he's going to improve the squad. There's no point in signing somebody you don't think is going to be better than what you have and make the squad better. And I think he'll be looking to see whether he can break through. I mean, I think that he's got a lot of ability, strength and power as well, and I think that, you know, from that point of view, he'll want him in there just challenging for a position. And even if he doesn't get the position, he'll obviously somebody who gets in front of him will have to be playing well and consistently to keep him out of the team. So that's what having a squad's all about. It's about making sure that the players who are every week playing in that team are at their best.
Yeah, what do you make of the signing policy, just briefly, with regards to Ibrox? You've got Hastie, you've got Jones, possibly Greg Stewart coming in, keen to get Steve Davis there on a permanent deal. Yeah,
well, they're mainly attacking players, and I think that one of the things you need to look at is in the defensive side of things too. Steve Davis, I think, has come through now. I think he's beginning to show what he's capable of. I think the first minute in the team is the lack of games he had, the lack of matches, and that obviously affected his fitness. But he seems to be coming through now, and he's a key player. And I think the Rangers need a couple of more key players through the heart of the team. Maybe one up front and maybe a centre back as well, who are consistent and will always be in the team if they're fit.
Okay. Coming up after the quiz question, we are going to hear from Lewis Ferguson. Of course, he's in the running for the Young Player of the Year. We'll talk Craig Levein and the need for the Jambos to keep the pressure on as they get ready for a Scottish Cup final. They just can't take their foot off the gas. We'll be talking about David Moyes, his job prospects, and of course, last night, Lionel Messi at his absolute best. Looks as if it's an easy one. You can always tell if it's an easy question. There's so many answers across all our social media outlets. Give us your thoughts on that team. Alan Ruff and Gordon Smith are here with me. Of course, when we're talking about nominees in the young player category, one of the favourites is Aberdeen's midfielder Lewis Ferguson. If Jake Hastie, Ruffy, is looking for someone to provide an incentive and what's achievable, Lewis Ferguson, I think some people thought was going to take a season just flitting in and out of the Aberdeen side, but it was very much the opposite.
Yeah, that's what we want to see. We want to see young players, getting a chance, and there are more and more of them getting a chance, and the good ones are really taking a chance, and he proves that. He's come into the team, he's matured a lot. You can see physically he's got a better player as well. The more and more games they get, the better they will get.
Yeah, and of course Ferguson himself is reacting to the speculation that Derek McInnes could be one of the favourites for the Scotland manager's job. He'd like to see him staying at Pittodrie and beyond.
I would love him to stay, obviously, because he's my manager. He's helped me so much this season, and he's made me a better player and a better person as well. So obviously I would love him to stay at Aberdeen for a few more years and help me develop as a player.
Was there a manager that made you become a better person, Ruffy?
There's a few of them threatened to be a better person, but I think managers have changed now for the managers we had. The way back then it was more of a bullying tactic, which you obviously took heed of. And,
was there any manager? I was going to say to you, was there any manager that? I'm not sure you were the type of player. Was there any manager that just put their arm around your shoulder just to give you a wee G up? No?
No, not at all.
No?
I suppose Dave McFarland in the early days when I was 17, 18, that he looked after everything he did. But managers then knew what you were doing. They knew whether you were on the right side or the wrong side, and they weren't slow in telling you, you had to clean your act up.
There was a kind of theory in our day for managers that they had to be hard on you. You were only at your best if they were hard. It wasn't the carrot or the stick. It was just normally the stick you got.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was what they felt was the right way to treat you, because they felt you have to be hard so that you were always fired up and all that. And it's not always the way. You need a bit of both.
Yeah, absolutely. Which actually reminds me of the story you told me about Jock Stein when you were at under 23s.
Was that?
I'll remind you, which is just basically that he mentioned to you that he was keeping track of you, you were doing well, and he was saying things positive to you when you were about to go on as a substitute.
Oh, that's right. I was putting me on as a substitute against Sweden, and he gave me the best advice I've ever had. Just go out there and take them on and dribble and run with the ball and just keep the ball as much as you can. And I was like, okay, I've never had that kind of advice before.
Yeah.
And I did, and it went well for me, and he gave me a big hug when I came off. So that was a bit of a proud moment for me. That, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll keep you right, Gordon. Have you met Ruffy?
Yeah.
Okay, now we move on to Craig Levein. He's been talking about the fact that they can't relax ahead of the cup final. Well, of course, everybody's playing for their places, aren't they? It's Kilmarnock, Aberdeen, and then Celtic for Hearts before, of course, the big Scottish Cup final at Hampden.
Yeah, well, if you're a Hearts player, you want to play in these two games. You want to prove to the manager that you're the guy who should be playing in the cup final, and that should be the momentum for every Hearts player in these two games that are coming up. And if you get to a cup final, you'd want to go to it on maybe the back of two wins, two convincing wins, two good displays. You certainly don't want to go into a cup final on the back of two defeats.
Are they going to finish above Hibs or below them?
No, I think Hibs are the better side just now, but obviously they've got to win games.
Yeah, okay. Just thought I'd get your thoughts on that. Managers looking for jobs. Everybody throwing up the names for the potential Scotland manager's job, which we've got to wait another 2 weeks for. Some of us are flabbergasted by that. Ruffy's at peace with the whole time scale for Scotland. David Moyes says he's open to a job in England or Scotland. He'd like to manage Scotland one day, but he still is on the hunt for a club job.
Yeah.
Now, club job in the Premier League, he'd probably jump at it. There's only one job up here that potentially would be available.
Yeah, there is. I mean, he's an ex-Celtic player from his younger days in the game, and he's been a manager at a top level, with no doubt about it. I mean, managed Everton for years. He had a short spell at Manchester United that didn't go that much in his favour. He's been in Spain as well. He is top class, there's no doubt about it. I think Neil Lennon is still the ideal man for the Celtic job, though. I think that he's the most experienced guy they've got for that position. But I think Davy Moyes will be a candidate for the Scotland job. I don't think there's any doubt about that. We've got good candidates, I feel, but Davy Moyes will certainly be one.
Yep, okay. I've got to, before we finish this programme, talk about the game that we were looking forward to last night in the Nou Camp. It was Barcelona against Liverpool. 3-0 in the end, but I have to say to you, Ruffy, I thought Liverpool played really well, had big moments in the game where they just couldn't capitalise. And then, as Gordon and I were talking about pre the show, the boy who walks about for quite a considerable amount of time suddenly just burst onto the scene and killed them.
Yeah, you're right. I think that'll be the disappointing thing for Liverpool. At 1-0, they were the better side. They had the better chances. But again, at this level, you've got to stick them away. You've got to have that player who will stick the big ones away. And Salah has been doing that. There's no doubt about that. And you thought when it fell to him, this is it.
Yeah.
And an away goal is so crucial. But again, as you say, it must be difficult having to pick Messi up because he doesn't play in any particular position. So you can't say, you know, he's your man or your man. You've just got to pick up the areas that he gets in.
I think Guardiola had the best comment when he was Bayern Munich manager. They were playing Barcelona and they said to him, "You're going to have to stop Messi." And he went, "Yeah." And he goes, "How do you stop him?" And he said, "You can't." That's what he said. He said, "You can't stop him."
Yeah.
That's a great line from
It is,
a top manager.
The strange thing about it, Gordon, is he's one of those players that you don't really, you know, I think as he gets older, you think, okay, he's going to lose a yard of pace. His whole game's never really been about pace. It's always been about beating players square on.
There's a bit of pace. There's a bit of pace involved with it, yeah, because he's bursting with it, but he's taking it on people and he's changing direction with the ball at his feet. It's almost like as if it's Velcro attached to his boot at times. Yeah. The way he can run with that and change position and take people on, put the ball through players' legs. But he's also got great vision. He sees a thing. And you were talking about it earlier on, Peter. A lot of people won't give him credit. The fact when that shot from Suarez hit the bar, who's the first player that's in there? It was Messi. He's obviously reacted just in case the ball came back out, and he was the first player to put it in. So he walks about a lot, but he does that. He's been doing that for years because he makes it hard for people to pick him up. He's not running. Hardly anybody thinks, "Oh, I'll go and mark him," because at times he's not involved. But then all of a sudden, when he gets involved, it's incredible what he can do. He can change a game.
Yeah, I think there's ever been a time when a manager said to him, "Look, you need to start tracking back and picking people up." Do you think he's ever tackled anybody? I can't remember him ever putting a tackle.
Oh, he has. He has. He's picked up a few yellows.
Yeah, he did.
And he moans, which is great. I like a moaner, you know. But
600 goals in his career is not bad.
600 goals is absolutely sensational. I mean, and again, he'll easily hit 50 again this season, which is just frightening. Between him and Ronaldo, they've been a joy to watch. What chance Liverpool at Anfield, 3-0 down? You can tell by Jurgen Klopp's demeanour, he knows it's a mountain.
As a manager, what you have to judge, and for me, of course, it's very important how we played, and I'm completely happy. I told the boys I'm proud of how we played. I think it was the best away game in the Champions League so far, and not only this year, last year included. Against a side like this, playing this kind of football, I was completely happy. We played between the lines, we played through, we were in the box, we had really good chances. We caused them a lot of problems, so that's good. And Champions League now is like this. If you lose away, it's not a massive problem. Can happen. As long as you score a goal. That's the problem tonight. We didn't score that goal, and so that makes our life now not easier, to be honest.
As long as you score a goal, and they couldn't get that goal. Liverpool at Anfield sometimes can be awesome, but not for nothing awesome.
No, it's hard goal. I mean, Barcelona did miss a good chance in the last minute as well when Dembele was put through by Messi, but nevertheless, that is a crucial element, not scoring. They lost a goal more than they should have lost maybe as well. If it had been 2-1, you'd have still given them a real strong chance, but the fact they lost that third goal and didn't score, I think they're out.
Yeah, okay, it looks as if it's Barcelona and possibly Ajax still in the mix, though Tottenham will have something to say about it. Ruffy, it's Thursday. Earlier on, and I'm talking way early on in this programme at the start of the season, I said the Europa League needs a revamp, needs more money, needs to be glossed up. There's a lot of clubs in it that I think, just it's not as entertaining as it should be. And quite simply, people from Celtic were giving me pelters because they were in it. Now, nobody's in it. It's Arsenal against Valencia, Eintracht against Chelsea, and I had to remind you it was on.
Yeah, you're right. You know that when the Champions League's on, it is a distant competition that you want to see with the quality of football. But we know the supporters and the players that are in the games tonight will see it as a big tournament.
Okay, we're running out of time. Arsenal or Valencia?
Arsenal.
Valencia.
Okay, Eintracht or Chelsea?
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Okay, there you are. Just a little difference of opinion, but that's what the programme's all about. You can offer us your opinion at any time across all our social media outlets. From Ruffy, Gordon and myself, Peter, thank you very much for watching. We'll be back with you tomorrow.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.